Alright, everybody, what is going on? It has been a minute since we've done a real video, but we're here. Legends Arceus just came out, so I figured, why not make a tier list about it? So I went with doing the Hisuian forms and the new Pokemon that got introduced. So basically, just the Hisui exclusive Pokemon. I'm just gonna make a tier list of purely subjective opinions about them, like what I think of them. Um, how I feel about them, how I feel about their signature move, design, typing, catching it, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, why don't we just get started? I'm gonna start with Decidueye. I really like its design. I really like its signature move. I'm gonna put it in outstanding. Put it in the top tier. I really like that they changed the colors to like red. Um, I really like that aspect of it. It looks like a cool samurai sort of thing. I didn't use Rowlet in my first playthrough, but I ended up getting it in the post game. So yeah, I really like the design. I like the signature move. It's not a pain in the ass to get. So yeah, outstanding. All right. So this picture doesn't really do Typhlosion justice, or should I say Typhlosion. It kind of looks goofy when you just look at the model here, but I played through the entire game with Typhlosion as my starter. Um, and its flames are out like pretty much 100% of the time, and it looks really, really cool with the flames. I like its vibe. Its signature move is really nothing special. But I really like the design. I really like the direction they took with it. So yeah, outstanding. And then Samurott, I'm gonna put into good. The design doesn't do quite as much for me as the other two. I feel like there's not enough really that's different. If the shiny had been the regular form and vice versa, I think I would put it in outstanding because I really like its shiny form. But it's kind of just edgier Samurott with a different mustache. It still really looks cool. Its signature move is cool too. It gives the splinter effect, which is new to these games, or well, this game because it's only one. Because Pokemon decided to finally do only one game, thank God. But anyway, yeah, I like the design. You know, it does the least for me out of the three starters. That's what I'll say about it. Growlithe, I'm gonna also put into good. Originally, I figured this was top tier. Like I really liked the design. It's cute. Um, it's a good dog. I don't know. Like it's a good design. But then when I saw Arcanine, I was like, wow, that's so much better than Growlithe. In terms of design. Spoiler alert of where I'm gonna put Arcanine. But yeah, I like Growlithe's design. Again, it's not a pain in the ass to get. I like its role in that part of the story, which I think matters. But it's pretty good. I like it. And then Arcanine is going to go into outstanding. I really, really like the color scheme and the design here. I like the fight with it. Oh yeah, I should probably say spoiler warning, but I feel like you understand that it's liable to have spoilers in this video, so it's all right. I'll make sure the thumbnail doesn't spoil anything when I make the thumbnail. But yeah, anyway, Arcanine, I really liked its fight. Um, I really like its design. Its role in the story is good. How it like evolved in danger when the big Growlithe was in trouble and all that. When it swam across, I don't know how a fire rock Growlithe all swims all the way to an island from a beach, but that's neither here nor there. I really like the design. Uh, I'm gonna put Voltorb into good. You know, I like the design. It doesn't really do that much for me, but like it's solid. It's a good way to kind of change up Voltorb because it's kind of hard to do. But they finally changed the Pokeball, so it kind of makes sense. I do like the design. I like the slightly shifted colors. I feel like it could have maybe had like a little bit more greener of a tint on the bottom, but then how true is that to the Pokeball design? It gets a little messy, but it doesn't scream grass type to me. It never really screamed electric type to me either, but like they didn't have steel back when this Pokemon was introduced, and they had to give it a type, and they weren't just gonna make it a normal type. So electric made sense then, but kind of nowadays it's weird. I know the Pokeballs are made out of wood, and that's why it's a grass type. I just don't really see it, but I like the design. It's not bad. Electrode, honestly, kind of in the same tier in terms of the design as Voltorb, but what pulls Electrode down for me is, like I said, it's completely subjective, but yeah, Melly, the worst character in these games, is Voltorb's. I don't remember what you call it, but she is in charge of Electrode. She's in charge of Electrode, and she is my least favorite character in terms of humans in the game. So yeah, Electrode unfortunately gets punished for that, but its design is good. I like the divots in its face, like on the top with its eyes. I like that aspect of it, but it kind of has the same flaws as uh, Voltorb. All right, Cleavor. I'm gonna put Cleavor into good. I used Cleavor throughout my playthrough. Spoiler alert as well. I used all Hisuian or New Evolution forms for my playthrough just because I wanted, to use new Pokemon in the new game. And I used Cleavor, um, and I like it a lot. Its signature move is pretty cool. Stone Axe makes sense for it. It's a little bit on the nose, but I thought this design would honestly be a little bit better. But Cleavor is like weirdly small. I know it's a bug, but like I feel like Caesar was never like small. I feel like Cleavor is like weirdly small and skinny for what it is. Like if it had been a bit more bulky in its design, I think I would like it more. But like you see how it's got like these wiry arms next to these huge stones, like something about that just doesn't work for me. I don't know. I mean, it's still a good design, but just doesn't quite hit for me. And then I'm gonna put Quillfish up into outstanding. So yes, Quillfish doesn't look that different from Jotonian Quillfish, the original form, but I think that's a point in its favor. I know I said that like Volt or Samurott didn't really change that much, but I feel like Samurott needed more of a change, whereas with Quillfish, I feel like the small amount of changes that they made were perfect. I really like the design. I really like the color scheme. It's simple but effective, I guess is the best way to put it. All right. Overquill. I'm somewhere between good and meh. Its signature move is nothing special. Its design, I think they could have done a better job with it. I used it throughout my playthrough, and it was pretty clutch, honestly. So that's definitely a point in its favor. But its design is just kind of not my favorite of the Hisuian forms. I like it to an extent, but I feel like it could have had a much cooler signature move. Like this is a Pokemon with a lot of potential in that particular area, and they kind of just said, 60 power move that can do more if the target has status effects. Which I'm gonna be honest, playing through the game, I like if I wasn't catching a Pokemon, I barely used status moves. I use status moves much less than I would in a normal Pokemon game, which is not a detriment to the game. Um, it's more just it pulls down things like Typhlosion signature move, which has the same property, and Overquill's signature move. I know some of the moves aren't signature moves, like Arcanine's signature move isn't actually a signature move. Like I know a couple other Pokemon can learn it, but like they were made for this Pokemon kind of specifically, so I'm calling them signature moves, even though it might not be right. Anyway, Overquill, decent design, could have been better in a couple areas, but not terrible. Sneasel, kind of goes in the same category as Quillfish. I really think they nailed Hisuian Sneasel. I really like the colors. I like the purple quill thing on the top of its head right here, where it would normally be red. I think they changed everything in just the right way. It's distinct enough, but again, it's simplicity that works. Simplicity in changes aren't always going to work, but for this particular Pokemon, I think it works really well. Sneasler. I mean, so I'm gonna put it in meh for now. Sneasler. First of all, what the hell is that name? I mean, Sneasler? What is it gonna evolve into Sneaselist? Like, come on. You could have been a little bit more creative, but you know, Sneasler. It was definitely my least favorite riding Pokemon, even though it might have had honestly the most utility. Um, Climbing places was super clutch, but like being in like a sack on the thing's back instead of like climbing on it and like holding on to it, that just kind of was off-putting to me, and its design is kind of just weird. I don't love Sneasler. It's not terrible. I can't say it's terrible though, because there are definitely worse designs that we'll be getting to. But I don't love Sneasler. I can't really put it in anything but meh. Its signature move is okay, but it doesn't do much for me. So yeah, meh. Ursaluna. I really, really like Ursaluna's design, and I like its role in the story, and I like riding around on it. I think searching for items with it is actually kind of fun. I know it's kind of the least useful of the ride Pokemon, but I think that riding around on it, it being a little bumbly bear, it's fun. It's a good design. It's cute. I like that it kind of you know seems more docile in a way than Ursaring, but I don't know. I like its design a lot. Its signature move is basically ground type close combat, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I feel like putting it in top tier is something that I can definitely do. It's on the lower end, like it's kind of just cute and fun to ride around on. Like it's not like a great design, but I really like it. Weirdeer, I'm gonna put into good. I used a Weirdeer for most of my playthrough. I ended up switching it out at the end, but I really like the design. Gray is my favorite color, so I like the gray body. I like the big beard. I like the antlers. I like everything about its design. Its signature move leaves a little bit to be desired. But riding around on it is honestly super fun. I would say if it was a little bit more, if it was a little bit stronger in battle, it would probably be outstanding. And I know that like Sneasel and Quillfish obviously aren't going to be outstanding in battle, but it doesn't really matter for their case. But I feel like it mattered more for Weirder because it was kind of letting me down towards the end of the game in terms of its battle prowess. It might just be me personally, but I still think it's a really good design, and I really like riding around on it. All right. Lilligant is going to go into good as well. I like that it's kind of like a dancer fighter type thing. I like its typing. I liked the boss battle with it, and I used it throughout my playthrough. And it fit really well on my team. But the two things that I would say holds it back are that it kind of takes its typing concept and its kind of design concept from other Pokemon. So Malouetta, when it transforms into a fighting type, like that was the first thing I thought of when I saw this Pokemon. And then there's another grass fighting type that's just kind of better in the game that I unfortunately didn't get to use for my playthrough. So like Lilligant it has a good design, it's got a good boss battle, but there are just it's not quite an outstanding Pokemon for me. White Stripe Basculin. So technically it isn't a Hisuian form, but it's a new form, so it counts. I'm putting it in outstanding. I really, really like um, its design. I really like the white stripes. And people are going to say I'm crazy, but I like how hard it is to catch because it goes really well with like the backstory of it. It's like, oh, it's a dying Pokemon. Oh, this and that. so they're like very timid and hard to catch. But catching one was super, super satisfying the first time I did it. Um, so yeah, I really like this Pokemon. I think, well, that's more Basculegion, but I think the signature move is cool. I really like the white stripe much more than the blue stripe or the red stripe form. I think it's just like a sleeker design. So yeah, I would say outstanding for Basculin, and then Basculegion I'm gonna put into good. Um, yeah, so Basculegion, I really like its design. I like its backstory. Um, Riding on it kind of left a little bit to be desired, to be quite honest. I didn't love riding around on Basculegion. Like, it kind of felt clunky. Catching Pokemon on it is a pain in the butt. Um, the double jump thing is a little bit hard to control, especially doing the balloon challenges, but I like its design a lot. I like its signature move a lot. Um, I didn't use it in my playthrough, but obviously you ride around it all the time. But yeah, I think it's a good Pokemon. It's just not quite as good as Basculin. And then Basculegion female, I'm gonna not tier it actually because I haven't seen it. The Basculin I caught was a male, so when I evolved it into Basculegion, I didn't see this form of it. I'm honestly seeing this for the first time, so I feel like it would be disingenuous to rate it. If I go back and play the game and find a female Basculin and evolve it, then maybe I'll throw in a comment with my thoughts on it. But for now, I'm just going to leave it untiered because I haven't seen it in the game, and I feel like that's important. You can't just look at these sprites and kind of determine how you feel about it. Zorowa, or Zoroa, or however you pronounce it, is going to go into outstanding. I really, really like the design of it. It changes just enough to be kind of, again, simple yet effective, like Quillfish and Sneasel. I also really like the normal ghost typing. I think that was a really cool addition to Pokemon. It's one of my favorite type ideas, so I'm glad they put it in the game. I like its design. You know, I didn't use the Pokemon in my playthrough, but I might have considered it if it was there earlier in the game and at a higher level, because you catch it and it's, you know, it's level like 25 and you have level 50s at that point. So I'm not going to train it up, but I really like its design. And then on the flip side, Zoroark, terrible. They could have gone in a bunch of different directions with this evolution, and I just think that they chose the wrong one. Like, all the hair flying everywhere, and you can't really see its face, and I don't know. I think they should have changed its stats more, and I think they should have done something different with its design. Again, I really like its typing. Not being able to use it until the end of the game doesn't help it either. It is funny that there's such a disparity between Zoroa and Zoroark, but I really like what they did with Zoroa, and I hate what they did with Zoroark. I don't know how to explain it. It's just how I feel. But yeah, not my least favorite design in the game. I'll get to that, but not great either. Braviary is gonna go into good. I used a Braviary right at the end just because you could get one at a reasonable level, and I felt like it would be more useful to have a flying type with the psychic subtype or second typing than normal. I wasn't really right or wrong based on the post game, but either way, I like Braviary a lot. I think its head thing is cool. I think like the psychic things that you see right here are cool. Again, I think they changed just enough about it, and I like that it's a special attacker now that it's a psychic type. You know, to make it good. It's not quite outstanding. I think maybe if they had changed the color scheme up a little bit more, it could have been there, but it's still good nonetheless. Avalog, I love this design. I love I love the battle with it at the end of the game. I love Avalog here. Uh, you know, Hisuian Avalog. I think it was I think it was a great design choice. Ice Rock isn't the best typing, but everything else it has going for it, I really, really like. I liked normal Avalog to begin with, so it was super surprising to see it get a Hisuian form, and I was super happy about it because I was like, oh yeah, the boss fight is Avalok, blah blah blah, and that's just not a Pokemon I expected. Like, you know, obviously they kind of spoiled Electrode and Arcanine and Cleavor, and then Lilligant, like, you know, you could kind of see it coming a little bit just because uh, Petalil and Lilligant kind of fit the criteria, but I really didn't expect to see Avalug. So I think that is part of why I like it, but I also just really like its design and its boss battle. Speaking of outstanding, I love this Sliggoo design. I did use Sliggoo and Gudra in my playthrough, so my team was Typhlosion, Weirdeer, and into Braviary, Lilligant, Cleavor, uh, Overquill, and Sliggoo and Gudra. So that was my team, just if you wanted to know. But anyway, Sliggoo, I love this design. I love its little steel shell thing that it's coming out of. It's sort of just like goofy looking, but I think it was a really good design choice. I don't know. I really like it. And then on the other hand, Gudra, why did they make it so sad? Um, I get that it's got like a heavy ass shell on its back, but I don't know. I feel like they just could have done a little bit of something different with it. Its signature move is really nothing special. The horn things on the top of his head, I think, should have been different than the way they are. But I still liked it when I used it. It was the Pokemon I swapped out at the end of the game. When you had to do that, because I had a full team of 6, and there's a point where you're required to use a certain Pokemon. But yeah, I don't know. It's all right design. It was good in battle. That's just kind of how I feel about it. It's not anything special. All right, now we are at the worst 2 designs of potentially any Pokemon that I've ever seen in my entire life. No, I'm just kidding. But I really should I put this in the meh? Yeah, I think I'll put this in the meh. Enamorous. So when I found out that I got spoiled on there being a 4th genie before the game came out, so my opinion is probably a little bit skewed by that, but I was really excited to see what it would be. And then when I saw what it was, I literally let out like a oh god, what? Like that was my initial reaction. I was so disappointed by what I saw. So Enamorous, is such a gross looking Pokemon. Like it's got like the weird snake going around and the heart, and that wouldn't necessarily put it in terrible. What puts it in terrible for me is catching the damn thing. So with all the genies, they're kind of a pain in the ass to catch. Because you have to dodge the tornadoes and there are a bunch of other Pokemon around. But you have to catch this thing in one of the bogs at the Crimson Mire lands, and you move slower in the water. Oh my god, it was such a terrible, terrible thing to catch. It took me, I think, 6 in-game full days to catch it because I would get hit by a tornado or 2, and I would be in the red, and I wouldn't want to lose items, so I would fly away and then come back. It was a pain. It was such a pain, but yeah. After I caught it, I was not thrilled about even having it. I just wanted to get the quest done and everything. But yeah, its signature move is nothing special either. It's kind of just a copy of the other 3 when they got signature moves for whatever reason. I don't know why all these Pokemon got signature moves. Just give a signature move to a Pokemon if you can think of a cool creative one, and if you can't, just leave it alone. But yeah, I hate this design. The Terrian form, or however you pronounce it, is not quite as bad. I like it a little bit more, but it still does pretty much nothing for me. So it goes in the Met. And then the last 2 are the 2 origin forms, I believe is what they're called, but I could be wrong. Dialga is going to go into outstanding. I don't know why it was getting so much hate. I really, really like it. I think they did this one right in particular. It looks really menacing. Yeah, and I know the Squidward choking on a fork meme applies to its little neck thing here, but that doesn't really bother me that much. I really like its color scheme. I think they got that one right. I think they got this one wrong. It's terrible. It's terrible. It Palkia without arms is literally so cursed, and it kind of just looks like a weird Palkia Minotaur thing. Like, I think they got this one so wrong. I hate this design. Um, I was glad to see when I made the choice to choose between the two clans that it warranted me battling Dialga instead of Palkia because Dialga was so much cooler. And this thing, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? Um, but anyway, that is my final tier list. As you can see, I really like a lot of the designs. Usually tier lists, you're supposed to kind of have the average be in the middle, whereas my average is kind of more in this area. But I think they overall did a really good job with these designs. I know a lot of people are upset about them, but I think for the most part they did a good job. There are a few that I think they should make some changes to in hindsight, but you're always going to have a few that aren't as good as some of the other ones. But I think they overall did a really good job. As for the game itself, I absolutely loved it. It was actually like potentially my favorite Pokemon game of all time, and probably in my top three for like games all time. And that might seem like recency bias, but like I was playing the game and my emotions and my excitement and all that and just like the gameplay itself were all so good and so powerful. It's like nothing I've ever experienced in my life. Like it was so fun. Um, if you haven't bought the game and you're watching this, sorry for the spoilers, obviously, unless you've already seen everything. But if you have a Switch and you're on the fence, I really think you'll enjoy this game. It's rough around the edges in some ways. The graphics are not great. There are frame drops. There are issues with draw distance, but I think the graphics were really the only problem I had with it. Like, and I don't really even care that much about graphics. So like, I think they did a great job. Yeah, I really only have positive things to say about the game, except for a few quests and stuff that are obviously not as fun. But there are going to be those in every game that has 100 quests to do, so I can't really blame them too much for that. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave comments, obviously, with maybe what your tier list would be, what your favorite design was, what your least favorite design was, what you thought of the game if you've played it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you all later.